At just 23 years old, Tara Baker's life was tragically cut short, leaving behind a mystery that would haunt her family for over 2 decades. Her murder went unsolved until modern forensic science finally brought answers. This is the story of a relentless fight for justice, the power of cold case units, and the unwavering legacy of Tara Baker. Stay with us as we uncover the truth that took 23 years to reveal. Tara Louise Baker was born on January 20th, 1977, in East Point, Georgia. Growing up in a family that experienced her parents' divorce at a young age, Tara became the eldest of 4 siblings. Her mother remarried after the divorce, but Tara's role as the oldest child remained significant in the family dynamic. From an early age, Tara displayed an unusual interest in the legal system. Her passion for law was apparent even as a child, where she would engage in mock trials with her stuffed animals, a playful precursor to her future ambitions. Tara didn't stop there. She also made legal contracts with her relatives and would write letters to politicians. On one occasion, she even wrote to the president, complaining about a speech that interrupted her favorite TV show. At Lovejoy High School, Tara's academic talents were clear. She excelled in her studies and was often regarded as a hard-working and ambitious student. Her passion for law continued to grow, and after high school, she pursued a degree in the field that had always fascinated her. Tara enrolled at Georgia College, where she not only thrived academically but graduated early, earning 2 bachelor's degrees in just 3 years. Tara's drive and determination set her apart as a promising student, and in 1999, she took the next step in her educational journey. Tara enrolled at the University of Georgia, one of the top law schools in the country. Located in Athens, Georgia, the university was just a few hours from her family home, making it an ideal choice. Tara's decision to pursue law at such a prestigious institution demonstrated her dedication to her long-held dreams of becoming a lawyer or judge. On the evening of January 18, 2001, Tara Baker and a close friend visited the University of Georgia Library. They spent several hours together, studying and catching up on their academic work. By 7:30 p.m., Tara's friend decided to head home, but Tara remained at the library, feeling the need to finish her assignments. Around 9:46 p.m., Tara called her friend to confirm that she had made it home safely. During this brief conversation, Tara mentioned that she planned to leave the library shortly after the call. This would be the last time anyone heard from her. The night seemed to unfold as a typical evening, with Tara still at the library and in good spirits. But as time passed, her absence became more noticeable. Tara's mother, Virginia Baker, would soon receive a phone call the following day, a call that would set the stage for an unimaginable tragedy. Initially, Virginia thought the call was a prank. The caller claimed to be a detective, asking if Tara had ever been arrested, stating that her fingerprints were needed. Virginia, skeptical of the strange request, hung up. However, feeling uneasy, she decided to contact the Athens Police Department to clarify the situation. To her shock, Virginia learned that the call had indeed been from a real detective and that something was wrong. There had been a fire at Tara's apartment, but that was not the most alarming detail. The detective confirmed that Tara, along with one of her roommates, was missing, and an unidentified body had been found in the house. The detective suggested that the body might belong to Tara. What followed would change the lives of Tara's family forever. On January 19, 2001, the fire department received a call to respond to a blaze at Tara Baker's home in Athens, Georgia. Firefighters arrived to find the house engulfed in flames. After extinguishing the fire, they proceeded to search the premises. It was during this search that they made a grim discovery. Inside the house, they found a body that would later be confirmed as Tara's. The discovery shocked first responders, as there was no indication of who the victim might be or what had transpired in the house. The immediate assumption was that the fire might have been the cause of death. However, the investigation would soon reveal otherwise. Upon examination, the medical examiner's report confirmed that Tara had not died in the fire. Instead, she had been murdered before the flames began. Tara's body showed clear signs of violent struggle. Her cause of death was determined to be strangulation, accompanied by stab wounds. The fire, which had spread quickly, appeared to have been deliberately set, likely in an attempt to destroy evidence. The situation raised numerous questions about the killer's intent and the motives behind such a brutal act. Why kill Tara before setting the fire? And why was the fire started after her death, instead of as an attempt to cover up a crime in progress? As investigators pieced together the details, it became evident that whoever was responsible for Tara's murder had likely gone to great lengths to erase any traces of the crime, though they ultimately failed. Despite the damage caused by the fire, key evidence remained that would later play a crucial role in the investigation. In the wake of Tara Baker's tragic death, her family found themselves thrust into a battle for information that would span years. Despite their constant efforts to gain clarity, the police provided very little in terms of answers. From the outset, the detectives revealed only the most minimal details. The family was told that skin fragments had been found under Tara's nails, but there was no further information about the significance of this finding or its potential to identify the killer. For months, the Baker family was left in the dark, their desperation growing as each day passed without new leads. The emotional toll on Tara's family was profound. They were already reeling from the shock of her violent death, and the lack of communication from law enforcement only deepened their grief. The unprofessionalism they encountered at the police station added to their frustration. Detectives who were supposed to be working on the case seemed indifferent to the family's pleas for answers. Despite their repeated inquiries, the investigation seemed to stall, and no one in the police department offered any tangible updates. The family's frustration reached its peak when they were forced to request vital documents, including Tara's death certificate, through the state governor. Even this simple step was delayed, leaving the Bakers feeling abandoned and unheard. As the months turned into years, it became clear that the police were not providing the support the family so desperately needed. Faced with this lack of progress, Tara's family decided to take matters into their own hands. They started their own investigation. In reaching out to criminologists and other experts who could help them find the answers they had been denied for so long. The investigation into Tara Baker's murder was fraught with challenges from the very beginning. Despite the urgency of the case, significant obstacles made progress slow, and many mysteries remained unsolved. The first hurdle investigators encountered was the crime scene itself. The fire and water damage inflicted by the firefighters destroyed much of the evidence that could have been crucial to the case. The room where Tara's body was discovered was severely compromised, leaving little to go on. The absence of usable physical evidence, combined with the extensive damage, made it difficult to draw any firm conclusions about what had transpired. Among the few pieces of evidence that did emerge was Tara's missing laptop. It was the only valuable item believed to have been taken from her apartment. However, investigators found no other signs of a typical robbery. No other items of value were disturbed or removed, raising questions about the motive for the murder. If it wasn't a robbery gone wrong, what could have driven the killer to commit such a violent crime? Tara's boyfriend, who had been the subject of early suspicion, provided an alibi that was quickly verified. Despite this, the police remained reluctant to fully remove him from their list of suspects. His alibi left little room for doubt, yet his treatment by law enforcement remained suspiciously persistent, a sign that the investigation was struggling to find concrete leads. Several other potential suspects were considered during the investigation. A fellow student, known for his unsettling behavior toward female students, was investigated after multiple women came forward about his repeated advances, including toward Tara. However, no evidence could be found linking him to the crime. Another suspect was an attorney who had worked at the same law firm as Tara. His strange behavior and absence from work the day of the murder raised suspicion, but investigators were unable to connect him to the crime either. As the investigation dragged on, the lack of solid evidence and the numerous dead ends left many questions unanswered. The case grew colder with each passing year, and Tara's family was left grappling with the frustration of unfulfilled justice. In 2023, the Georgia legislature passed a pivotal law aimed at addressing the increasing number of unsolved murder cases. The Coleman-Baker Act, named in part after Tara Baker, was introduced to create a cold case unit within the Georgia Bureau of Investigation, GBI. This law was designed specifically to re-examine unsolved cases and give families like Tara's the hope they needed for justice. Tara's murder was one of the first cases to be revisited under this new initiative, a significant step forward in the fight for justice after years of stagnation. The passing of the Coleman-Baker Act was seen as a direct result of the tireless efforts of Tara's family, who had spent over 2 decades advocating for the reopening of their daughter's case. It also honored the memory of another victim, Rhonda Sue Coleman, whose 1990 murder had also gone unsolved. The law provided not only a framework for reviewing cold cases, but also gave the families of victims a voice, allowing them to request that their cases be reopened and re-examined by the newly formed cold case unit. Tara's case, alongside others, received renewed attention from law enforcement as a result of this law. With the establishment of the cold case unit, investigators were now equipped with modern tools and methods that had not been available when Tara's case first went cold. This included advanced DNA analysis and other forensic technologies that would play a crucial role in solving cases that had long been considered unsolvable. The impact of the Coleman-Baker Act was immediate, bringing new energy and resources to the investigation of cold cases. Tara's murder, once a mystery that seemed destined to remain unsolved, would soon be the focus of renewed efforts, setting the stage for the eventual breakthrough that would finally provide her family with the answers they had desperately sought for years. In 2024, over 2 decades after Tara Baker's murder, a breakthrough finally came in the case. The Georgia Bureau of Investigation, GBI, announced the arrest of Edric Faust, a man with a criminal history that included numerous previous arrests. Faust, at the time of Tara's death, was 25 years old and living in the same city. Despite having no prior connection to Tara, DNA evidence eventually linked Faust to the crime, bringing an unexpected resolution to a case that had long seemed unsolvable. Faust's arrest came about after new forensic methods, including advanced DNA analysis, were applied to evidence collected from Tara's crime scene. One critical piece of evidence was found under Tara's nails, fragments of skin from the perpetrator. For years, this evidence had been overlooked or insufficiently examined, but with the advent of modern DNA technology, investigators were able to match Faust's DNA to these fragments. The match confirmed what investigators had only hoped for. Faust was the perpetrator. The arrest was a long-awaited moment of justice for Tara's family, who had spent more than 2 decades seeking answers. The police, however, remained tight-lipped about the specifics of the evidence that led to Faust's identification, citing ongoing legal proceedings and the need to protect the integrity of the case. Despite this secrecy, the DNA match was indisputable, and Faust was charged with Tara's murder. The breakthrough in Tara's case not only provided closure for her family, but also highlighted the power of modern forensic techniques in solving cold cases. Faust's arrest brought long-awaited justice to a case that had haunted Tara's loved ones for more than 20 years, proving that no case is truly closed when new technology can bring hidden truths to light. In October 2025, the trial of Edric Faust will finally begin, marking the culmination of over 2 decades of unanswered questions for Tara Baker's family. Faust, who was arrested in 2024 for the murder of Tara, faces several serious charges, including felony murder, aggravated assault, and arson. This trial represents the final chapter in a case that has haunted Tara's family and the community for more than 20 years. For Tara's parents and siblings, the anticipation of the trial is both a long-awaited milestone and an emotional roller coaster. The family has been through an agonizing journey, from the moment Tara's body was discovered in a burning house to the years of silence that followed. For them, the trial is not just about seeking justice, it's about finding closure. Tara's mother, Virginia Baker, and the rest of the family have spent over 2 decades advocating for answers, and now, at last, they will have the opportunity to see the man who took Tara's life face the consequences of his actions. Tara's legacy as a fierce advocate for fairness and equality lives on, inspiring the search for justice for victims of unsolved crimes.